This is workshop number 2, video number 7, and we're going to be talking about obstacles. And this is action step number 5. So if you remember, number 1, what, number 2, when, number 3, how, which is your action steps. Number 4 is prioritizing those action steps, and number 5 is identifying obstacles. Whenever you have gone through the action planning process before, whether it was just informal because you had a problem you needed to fix or a goal that you needed to hit, and you just took this action just because it's just logical steps, normally step 5 is the step that gets missed, because you know what you're going to do, you presume that you're going to be able to do whatever your action step is without any obstacles. But whatever you do, there are always going to be problems that arise. And particularly if you are introducing something new, people will be resistant to change. And so when you look at any kind of action plan, particularly if it involves someone else, one of the biggest obstacles that you're going to encounter is fear of change, and just general fear that if you're setting a goal for someone, that they're not going to be able to achieve that goal. And as you know about the primitive brain, you know that anything that is challenging to us is perceived as a threat, and our brain reacts with fear and says, no, 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 don't do it, don't do it. And that's just now that we accept that. So anytime someone has a doubt or doesn't feel like they can do it because maybe they don't have training, they're just going to say, that's not going to work. We can't do that, and they'll be very resistant. So when you're trying to identify obstacles to introducing a new program or steps to hit a goal, whatever it may be, when you encounter resistance from a person, what you need to do is when they say we can't do that, reflect it back to them and say, I understand that you don't think we can, but if you had to try something, what would you try? And allow them to think through, because they may not know about a mind flush. They may not know about all the things that you've learned in the last workshop and that you've learned in this workshop. So you want them to create ownership with them of the problem. And if you ask them how they would fix the problem or how they would solve the issue, then they are creating ownership. And once someone creates ownership, or they voice why they don't think they can do it, and you can fix that fix that problem with a solution, either with training or just explaining a little bit better, then you overcome their fear. And fear is one of the biggest obstacles that you're going to encounter. And resistance, maybe resistance is a better word than fear. Fear tends to make you think that someone's biting their nails. So resistance, or just someone being uncomfortable about a goal that you've set for them. And once you've the other obstacle that you'll encounter when you roll out an action plan or you roll out another goal is people feel overwhelmed. They don't know how to manage their time. They feel they've got too much on their plate and they can't possibly do one more thing. And so now you just have to point them straight back to their training from workshop 1. If they haven't done the training in workshop 1, you need to just guide them through how they can be more efficient. Look at all the responsibilities that they have, see if they can be streamlined, see if someone else could take one of their responsibilities, or if you know that person's just struggling with organization, then you just need to be able to guide them and prioritize the action plan step for them. So those are, you can go, when you've written down all your action plan steps, there'll also be things that are to do with training. It may be a customer issue, it may be an expense, whatever those obstacles are, you need to list them out. Even if you don't know if you can fix it, list out what the obstacle, what the action step you want to take is, and then against it all the different reasons why you may not be able to achieve that action step, and then the possible solutions that you can take to overcome them. Tying back in with resistance, if you can make it into a challenge as well, that will actually be able to create ownership and just make it fun, and then people will be less resistant to something new if they fully understand it, if they've taken ownership. If it's hitting a goal, if you can make it into a challenge, create friendly competition. Those are all ways of overcoming people's natural resistance to a challenging goal or to a new project or whatever you're rolling out in the form of an action plan. And then by anticipating the obstacles in advance, that is what creates the strategy to get to your goal. When you just lay out all the things that you're going to do, that's all sunshine and rainbows and daisies, because probably all those things, if you've just said, we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, as soon as you encounter that first problem, you'll go, oh my goodness, my action plan doesn't work. It's not that. You just haven't identified all the obstacles that are stopping you from achieving that action plan step. So when you've got your priorities, when you've got your list of hows, which is step number 3, and you've prioritized them, which is step number 4, then for each item that you've prioritized, you need to look at what could possibly go wrong. I also mentioned in the training, hurricanes are a great example of identifying obstacles. So if you can plan for a hurricane, then you can plan for, or any kind of natural disaster, you can create an action plan, because with a hurricane, you don't know where it's going to go. So you have to anticipate all the things that could arise and create a strategy to deal with them. It's exactly the same as identifying any obstacles that are going to stop you from achieving your goal or solving your problem. So good luck. Obstacles are the hardest part of creating an action plan, but they are the things that are going to allow you success and to hit your goal or to fix your issue.